Good evening, everyone. So, welcome to the soapbox of GSA PG. So, I will introduce myself and the panel as well as the candidate for GSA PG. So, we have Anmol Jain as GSA PG candidate. I am Vishakha Pandey, GSA PG. We have Surya Varchasvi, who is IDR of 2019 to 2020. Then we have Rishikesh Jadhav, who is IRSCP OC from 2022 to 2023. And we have IMR, who is Mohit Meena from 22 to 23. So first I will explain how we are going to do this soapbox. So first there will be an opening statement from the candidate for about 3 minutes. Then we will have manifesto debate for maximum of 45 minutes. There around 9 questions will be asked. Then there will be topic debate which will go for about 20 minutes. Maximum of 2 topics will be chosen, and for that we will be having debate. Then there will be background check regarding the credentials of the candidate. Then there will be Q&A from the inside, who has collected questions from the audience, as well as the audience can ask questions. So the ground will be open for audience to ask questions. And then there will be closing statement of maximum 2 minutes from the candidate. So let's start. So please.
Yeah. Hi all, my name is Anmol Jain. I am a PhD first year candidate in Energy Science and Engineering department. I have been an ACC in PGAC, Postgraduate Academic Council this year, and as a part of Team Shunya as a sponsorship manager, assistant manager sponsorship, and was a part of Institute Technical Council as a PG convener. If elected, I'll be working for the PG community for their betterment of their academic lives, and by focusing on their skill development and career prospects. Thank you.
Should we start with the manifesto debate?
Sure.
Okay. So let's start with the manifesto debate.
Okay, Anmol, so I have a couple of questions. So my first question is in new initiative, point number 2. You have mentioned that many research projects throughout the years to help students enhance their employability. So I don't really understand what do you mean by a mini research project and how is it going to impact on their employability?
Okay. So most of the PG and master student start their projects in the second year, or maybe most of them start after the placements. So by introducing mini research projects, there would be help in their thesis and maybe through different research projects which are not related to their thesis also, which can enhance their employability.
So is it guide driven or some collaboration what you are thinking of? Because see, for master student they have minimum 5 in first 2 semester. So it's very hard to take another this project, even mini research project as well. So how you will make this so that the student will be engaged to take it? So is it some sort of a collaboration with industry that you are thinking of?
So basically, there are most of the students in the campus who are actually working on the subjects which new students are planning to work on. So the students within the campus will be mentoring the new students so that their research work would be like enhanced on a much better pace. And the first question was about the time taken by the students. So they do 5 subjects in first, second semester, but we'll be planning the mini research project in such a way that they won't give much of the time to this, not more than 3 to 4 hours per week, so that they can plan their weekends also, and they have all the time to do extracurricular also. So 1 hour at the night time before sleeping they can plan to work on research projects, or maybe in the weekend.
Alright, but still I'm not sure that for a one particular department, can you throw some more lights that how you'll be implementing this? Let's say you are from energy science, right?
Right.
So there might be for masters there might be some specializations.
Right.
So how you'll be taking these projects? Would you choose some topic that is related to industry, or you choose some topics that are floated by guide, or what?
Okay, so I have an example related to mechanical department. So currently in India, most of the researchers are planning to work on open source softwares, for example, OpenFOAM for computational work. But most of the students have no idea about OpenFOAM, how does it work, and how do we actually change the programming, how do we change this language that we use in the OpenFOAM. So we can plan to work on that, because I know various PhD students who are working on OpenFOAM who can help them to at least have an initial knowledge of the subject so that they can start to work with. Because in the second year they don't have much of the time, and it requires a lot of time, like more than 3 to 4 months to learn the software. So if they have prior knowledge to the software, they would be this would be helpful for the student.
Okay, so in broad sense, it's some sort of a workshops that you are planning. Am I right?
Workshop with mentors, right?
Alright. And my second question is from skill development that you have mentioned. Point number first, to create a video series for the placement experiences, right?
Right.
So in the last this tenure, we have introduced this placement series, right? So how is it different from that? Because you have mentioned this point, we have organized some events that is going to help the students sitting for the placements. So how this point is different from that, and what will be your approach to improve
Okay,
it?
so basically whatever have been done is not a video series in my opinion, whatever I've done groundwork with. So it is basically events. I'm planning to do video series so that it can be pre-recorded. For the new students, it can be pre-recorded. They can take knowledge from the videos anytime they want, and they don't have to come to the event for preparing the interviews.
So don't you think that one by one this event is better than a video series, that because the student might be having that questions, right? So how is it better than the placement series that we have as of now? Because there they can ask questions, they can clear their doubts. How is it better?
Okay, so video series is different from interviews events, because video series are related to the experiences of the past placements, and it would help the new students to do to see the video series. Events are quite different thing, and video series is a different thing. They can interact in the events, but to gain the experience on a much larger scale, we could have video series. In events, not like very few people will come to do the talks with the students.
So it's like we can record that events, right? So that would be a video series.
But events would be.
We have done that already. I mean, I'm just trying to basically know how is it something different, or you will be enhancing that or improving it?
Yes, basically in events we already have whatever we have already have done is with few peoples. Like there are only few persons who have been placed. We have taken their experiences in the events. But for placement series, we'll try to cover most of them who have been placed in the current placement time, so that each and every placed guy would share their experience through that.
Okay, so would it be specialization wise or department wise?
We will plan to do that in the coming future. So we have not, I have not thought about that till now. So we can do in both ways.
Alright. And my last question is?
Before going further, there will be 5 play buttons per question.
Alright. So this is my last question, Anmol. This is regarding Research Information Exchange Portal. So this is the idea which is, introduced in last tenure, right?
Right.
And we have worked hard for this particular portal. So we have faced lot of issues, if you are aware of. So how you'll be mitigating those issues and how will you make sure that you'll complete this in your tenure?
Okay, so I don't know much of the issues you're talking about. I know few issues. There was issues with web development of the portal. So I'm planning to nominate. Like I'm planning to have two to three nominees for the website development and maintenance for the same. So
But
this
I think website is already ready. It's most problem is the data. How will you manage the data from different departments?
so we'll be planning to get the database to the auras.
But how? Because I tried, and
Okay.
I don't know if you have done that groundwork or not. But there are a lot of issues. Some professors are not agreeing, or they don't have the data on the website. So how will we doing that?
Okay, so the basic plan is to get the public data which can be available on website and which can be available on when asked to the within the IIT campus. For example, if any lab have some equipments, they can share the whatever equipments they have. So this is the I think within the IIT it should be public, and we can have that data which is already in views of certain departments or in a certain areas of the department. We can publicize it through our Resix website, Resix portal.
All right. So hope so. You will complete this. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'll give.
Yeah, so hi Anwar. I had some doubt regarding the new initiatives that you have proposed. So, in the third point of new initiative is to facilitate students with various journals, books, and other library resources by pushing for collaboration of IITB Central Library with nationwide library schemes. Okay, so I want to know what are the existing sets of collaboration that are being already available in the Central Library with other these schemes, and what new initiatives are you trying to propose? Also, a follow-up question on that, so what would be your plan of action, the timeline, stakeholders that are being involved in this, and an estimated date of completion, like how long you want to?
Okay. So your first question was about the library. What are the already collaborations? Yeah. So I don't have anything to say because I don't know about any collaborations within the IIT campus, IIT Central Library. So your second question was?
Yeah. So what new set of collaborations are you proposing?
So I know one scheme which is National Digital Library. Which has been introduced by MHRD, Ministry of Education, and developed by IIT Kharagpur. So we'll plan to collaborate with that portal so that our journals will be on a much larger scale.
Okay, and what is the plan of action and timeline?
Okay, so I haven't decided the plan of action, so timeline for that. So plan of action would be to have a conversation with the librarians, chief librarian, in the future.
Okay. So I hope you. Yeah.
I have a follow-up question on this. So you are saying that you will have collaboration of IITB Central Library with nationwide library schemes. So nationwide library schemes are already open for everyone. They are open source, right?
Right.
So there you can access journals and books and other library resources. So what do you mean by collaboration of IITB Central Library with nationwide library schemes?
So that collaboration would be what I've talked about, National Digital Library. Institute can collaborate with the library so that the students can be facilitated well enough. So that process we will be expediting. So they require some group to form in the portal so that every IIT student, IIT Bombay or any institution student can be facilitated. So I'll be expediting that process through Chief Librarian.
Are you aware that if it's already not in process?
No, I'm not aware of that right now.
Okay. And so what is your role as a GSEC PG into that? So it's already an administrative work, I think. So what is your role?
So I'll be in conversation with the chief librarian so that the process can be expedited on a better pace. That's where my role comes.
Okay. I had a second question in the skill development section, third point. Like you have proposed to enhance support to the incoming students. So by incoming students, I hope it's PG and PhD.
Right.
Right? Okay. By conducting department-specific preparatory sessions that help them navigate their coursework easily.
Right.
Okay. So my point is like ISCP for MTech and IRSCP specifically does the same thing. So they have an entire set of documents which are in the place, which are circulated to the new students. They have a mentor-mentee kind of a program that is ongoing. So how is this initiative different from what you have proposed?
So what ISCP and IRSCP does is the introduction to the campus and the department and what are the labs available at the department. But for the coursework, various professors demand or assume that students already know something. Like for example, I give you my own example. My professor thought that I already know MATLAB. But he did not know that maybe I did not pursue MATLAB as a programming language for my career. I did C++. They both are similar, but the other departments or other courses have different set of presumptions that students should know this before coming to the course. So we'll be providing some resources which would be very for a short period of time, such that the coursework projects they won't hamper their coursework projects.
But you can always learn these courses online, right? You have an entire series dedicated on YouTube for MATLAB learning. You have an entire series for CPP learning. So I guess it's already not included in the coursework, but it's available for free. So what is the different thing that you are doing?
So that is one example of MATLAB C++. There could be anything else which maybe I'm not aware of, which can be department specific.
So have you formulated such list of those workshops basically that you are trying to, subject specific?
So that would be related when the newcomers would come, and the feedback would be taken from the ISCP and IRSCP. Through that, we will be conducting that.
Okay, so it's a feedback related to
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, best of luck.
Thank you.
Hi Almud.
Hi.
So my question is related to the policy section where you mentioned that you will minimize the average duration of the PhD by a institute-wide policy. So can you throw some light on what were the previous initiatives that were taken and how are you going about, like how would you go about it?
Okay, so previous council, which I'm still a part of, have done some work for this. So they have done groundworks with the deans, and I don't know much of the groundwork part, but there is some idea related to the amount the PhD guide gets after the completion of the PhD. So we'll try to expedite that and get to it. And another point is professors get some awards, for example, Teachers Excellence Award and other awards, which are parameterized with various things. So there should be another parameter related to this, that whatever the PhD duration the guide is, like from the guide side. In the lab, for example, if the average PhD duration is more than 5 years till which we get stipend, that amount should be monetized according to that average duration. So we'll be suggesting this through the meetings in the PGBC.
Okay, but what were the previous initiatives? I didn't get that clear.
So previous council have talked with the deans, so that amount which PhD guide gets should be monetized according to the average PhD duration.
Okay. So how would you go about it, like forming the new policy for minimizing the average PhD duration? Like based on your response, I presume that you think it's from the guide's end who's increasing the average duration of PhD?
Not exactly. There would be rebuttals, and there would be the guide won't be agreeing to it. So we'll have some other things. For example, in the APS, they would write that this person, the student has to perform this much, and it could not, they could not perform that well. So it would be related to, it would be definitely go with the DPGC or RPC members of the student, and it would be taken care of through that.
So when you say institute-wide policy, one shirt fits all, that cannot be, right? Like different departments have different average durations. Like, so how do you go about, should it be department-specific or institute-wide policy?
So the initial plan is to go with the institute-wide policy. But if the rebuttals come with department-specific, so we'll think about that in that specific time.
Okay. So that's about the policy. The other policy question that I have is for the TA work, documentation of TA work.
Right.
It's said that it's overburdening. By documenting, how do you prevent overburdening?
Okay. So the TA work, whatever the student is doing the TA work, they can document it and get that after, for example, the TA work is subjected to 8 hours per week. So whenever they do complete 8 hours in a week, or for example, after one month, they do 32 hours or so, they can get it signed through their guide so that it can be documented, and therefore it would be not overburdened for them, because our number of hours of the work would be documented well enough beforehand.
Okay. There is this gray area where the instructor feels that it is 8 hours work and you feel it's not 8 hours work. So how do you overcome that? Instructor says designing this assignment would take hardly 1 hour. And correcting these many scripts take this much time. So, but you insist that it takes more time. This is the gray part of the policy, that documentation part. How do you circumvent this problem?
So if the TA duty has to be taken care of within, for example, if the professor's expectation is something, so they can write it down that this was my expectation and this is what I got. So that's how the amount of TA duty, TA work which have been done can be documented with remarks.
So this is more of a suggestion than a question. When usually in electrical department or some of the departments that I know, they float the courses that are there. We know that this is a tough course, requires much of TA duty. This is a easier course, lab course, which doesn't require much of TA duty, where 8 hours is fixed. You don't have to do anything beyond that. So wouldn't it be nice if the professor also says this is the TA requirement while floating the course, right? Like this is what is expected, and so departments should also allot those many TAs.
Right. Thank you for the suggestion. That's a good suggestion.
Okay. So the third question is regarding the funding, master's funding. You mentioned that you streamline the process for master's funding. Can you tell me what is the current situation for master's funding for conferences, right?
Right.
This is for conferences. If the student wants to travel for a conference, what is the current situation? Like who funds now and how much?
So the funding is similar to PhD, but the process is not smooth lined. For PhDs, they can download, they can go to the Google and search for the forms and they can get it easily. But for masters, they have to fill the application through their DPGC and HODs, so that they can get the funding, and the process takes more time than that of the PhD. So we'll be just because of this, they are not motivated enough to go to apply for the conference funding. So that's why that's one of the reason I'm trying to do that the conference funding for masters should be streamlined enough that they are well motivated to go for conferences.
Good, but one factual correction, it is not same as PhDs. So the master students get only the conference registration, visa, and then the travel insurance. They don't get for the flight and the allowances, which is available for PhD students, region based, right? So whatever the registration fees for the conference is provided by the for the master students, and institute provides it. So there is no upper cap as such that I have known. So this is the current situation.
Okay.
So extension of that point, can you tell me what can be the possible reason behind such policy right now?
Okay, so most of for the master student, the total duration of masters is 2 years, out of which they took more than 1 year to complete their coursework. They do research work only for less than 1 year. So that's why the research, the duration of the, because of the duration of the research, they are not ready, or they are not up to the mark of that of the conferences which they should go. So they are that's one of the reasons they are not motivated enough to go for the research. And masters are basically planning or they're not trained in that way to go to the research part. They're trained to pursue research so that they can go to the PhD level. They are here to do mastery in certain subject, through advanced curriculum, but not go deeply into the research. That's one of the reasons.
Anmol, I did not get what do you mean by up to the mark. So is it like they are, because I know many of them, those who are getting into better conferences, so what do you mean by up to the mark?
Because the duration is very less, so they don't have much
Still
time.
They are managing, right? So
Right.
some of them, I mean, what does this mean up to the mark? That their research is not up to the mark?
Their research is not up to the mark for the duration base, because they are not, they did not spend much time in the research, but to the curriculum. That's why I said that word. But up to the mark is in comparison with the PhD, because PhDs took more than 3 to 4 years to complete the particular research topic. They work on the research topic for more than 3-4 years. But for masters, they have lesser time. So that's why I said that word. But for sure, every lot has a good performer and a bad performer. They could have very good conferences, which they should go or they must go. But as I'm comparing with the duration of the PhD, because most of them, I'm comparing for the average student, most of them are taking less than 6 months to complete their projects. That's why the up to the mark was there.
Okay, so just a suggestion, you should not assume this, right? So when you are looking for some policy change, you should not be assuming this, that their research is not, because there's very variety in the institute, right? And you will be representing entire PG.
Right.
So, and you won't be knowing that who is working on what and what kind of research. So since your idea is nice, so you should not be looking in such aspect, or you should not be having that assumptions, right?
So I did not have that assumption. That's why I wrote I will work on increasing the conference fund, smoothlining the conference funding. So that came out wrong, but my idea was this only, so that the process can be smoothlined enough that master student is motivated to go for the conferences.
Right. Okay.
So the question still remains the same then. What is the reason behind the administration to have such policy?
I don't know the exact reason. Maybe I guess because masters are here for less than less duration. That's maybe one of the reason.
Follow up, probably this will also, this is a linked question. So how many master students are there and how many PhD students are there?
Okay, I don't know the exact number, but approximately and within the range of 2,500 to 3,000 students are there in the masters, and approximately 3,000 to 3,500 students maybe are there in the PhD.
So would it be feasible?
So for masters the number is correct, but for PhD it's not correct.
For masters, it's 3,300.
Okay.
So would it be feasible to provide funding for both everyone, PG together? So you assume like PhD and masters, like before this, you assume both are funded equally, just that the process is not same. So would it be feasible to fund both of them, like financially?
Okay, feasibility is what we have to look in the future. But if the student's work is good enough, so they should go to the conferences. I think they should be motivated enough that they have the opportunity to go to conferences.
Okay, there are one more thing. There are three-year MTechs, which is RA, and then 1 2-year. So since MTech is limited like 2 years, if the paper is submitted before that, like before their thesis submission, should they be allowed for funding or shouldn't? Like this is just a question. I'm just throwing a question just to get your ideas. So if the paper is submitted before the thesis submission, practically after thesis submission you will not be funded, right? Even if the paper is accepted or what. So since their time is limited, should they be allowed for funding? Like if the paper is submitted prior to thesis submission, because they have submitted the work that they have done during the masters, like during their tenure as masters. So I'm just fishing for ideas. Just
That I have to think of. I think there is a grey area. That's a dicey question. There would be rebuttals, and I have to think more on this. So it won't be good to say anything right now.
hope you can ideate that with your new concept.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you.
So since we have taken, I guess 7 questions we have taken and 2 more we can take. So since one another panelist is not here with us, so we are supposed to take 9 questions. So 2 more questions you can take from the manifesto.
Maybe this fourth point, I'm not very clear. What do you mean by increasing the cap on daily allowances? What are you?
Okay, so in various cities, for the conferences, whenever the student is going, so wherever the student is going, the allowances limit is same for every city. But certain cities are, for example, I can call them according to their tiers. For example, first tier cities would cost more for the living and food charges and travel charges. But for certain cities, it won't be that much. For example, tier 1 cities, Delhi, Bombay, Chennai, Ahmedabad, they would cost more. But we get similar allowances for every city, whichever the city hosts the conference.
Okay, so I mean in this tenure, on funding, are you talking about this Masters PhD award? Because funding was increased for the conferences in this tenure itself.
That was for conferences. This is for allowances.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what is the difference between allowances and conferences? Allowances and
Allowances as in per diem.
yeah.
So whatever food they consume or whatever the travel they do, for that thing, I think there is in the range of 300 or something, 200, 300 rupees per day, per diem type, per day type. So and for conferences, there's for conferences they have to pay something for the conference to get submitted.
So where do we get this allowance? Where PhD and master students get this allowance?
From conference funding, I think. From conference funding, right.
It's more of like a same point, I think.
So since it has already been increased, the conference funding has already been increased. So here you have written that to review and suggest increasing the cap on daily allowance, right? So it's already has been increased. So what new you are going to do here?
No, there is a cap on the allowances for per day.
Just pointing out that the funding has increased and the allowance has not increased and increased as per the new.
Yes, new conference funding scheme.
So, okay, so you are going to just, that's a bureaucratic problem, not even bureaucratic, it's a process flow problem. Already, is it?
So basically, conference funding is increasing, but per day charges are not getting increased. So yeah, that you can say that is a bureaucratic problem. But yeah, if you are saying that if you have 300 rupees in your hand and you have to get food for 3 times in Delhi, or for example in Bombay, you won't survive. So that's why that's the main idea behind it.
So how much time you will be giving for this point? Do you have a plan of action?
Not right now. I'll be doing it in the future.
Okay, I have a question in referring. Third point, to organize an exposition to showcase student talents that are working on equipment materials otherwise may be sourced from foreign industries under the name of Atmanirbhar Bharat Expo.
Yes.
It would include industry talks and or workshops. Do you know currently how, what is the purchase methodology like that is followed, like in the purchase section of IIT Bombay, the Material Management Division, which is the MMD, which handles all the purchases. You know how it happens now?
I think it's not related to my point, but
Okay. So you mentioned equipment materials otherwise mainly sourced from foreign industry.
right.
So now you want the local
No, I just want, my idea was so that the students are aware that Indian industries are also manufacturing or producing the same thing. Maybe that equipment or material is, whatever the thing is not as precise as they want, but there should be knowledge about the thing for the students, so that they can think of doing something with the Indian industry.
Exactly, that was my point. Like now that is why I mentioned about the Material Management Division, which handles the purchases in IIT Bombay. If your limit for purchase, like if it goes beyond 2.5 lakhs, okay, so you have to search in a portal which is from the Government of India, which is called GEM portal.
Yes.
You have to search, and only if it's not available, you can avail for go for the foreign purchase, import. And if it's beyond 15 lakhs, you have to get the approval of the ministry to get that material.
I work with GEM portal because
So it's already in process right now. Whatever instruments, equipments that we have should be listed on GEM portal, right? That would be
Yes, definitely. But if you are aware of this fact, I was also doing a job and I was a vendor for various companies, and I use GEM portal myself. I used to float tenders, used to fill tenders for GEM. So that process is first of all very tedious, and not every vendor wants to do that. First thing, but that can be done easy enough. Well, that is a future perspective. But that was not my point. I know that 15 lakh cap is there, 2.5 lakh cap is there. I work with various power plants and IOCL plants and all those things. But I think my point is not that. I think my point is, my idea was to aware the students about the Indian industries, whatever Indian manufacturers can provide them, as compared to the foreign manufacturer. That's why I wrote Atmanirbhar Bharat Expo, because I want the students to get to know about the Indian Atmanirbhar talent.
okay, unless it is listed, like you will go for the unless if it is listed, you will still go for that, right? Like people are aware that these are the instruments
Right.
that are available. Right, but I would instead buy this because I know this works well.
No.
There is service. I know, like, because my seniors have worked, I can check with them like how it works. That is how it goes, right? Unless it is listed in the GEM portal, it is forced.
No, I think there's some mismatch over here. Anybody can list their products in GEM.
Yes.
Right now, if they're not there, if they know the demand is there through the GEM portal, they can register themselves with the GEM, and they can actually list down the products. which IIT can buy.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So what's the question?
Okay. Then what was the mismatch? Like the question was like I would instead go with the vendor that I already know, like in the sense like whatever foreign instrument that is already there, right? There is already user base created. Shouldn't you be floating instead of the expo? Shouldn't you be giving training sessions where the students get to know the instrument rather than putting it in the expo, like organize workshops with the Indian made instruments?
No. The idea is to get to know about the product itself, so that the student understands why this product is not precise enough or why this product is not performing as the way we are expecting. If we know that thing, we can, we can change our, we can. I don't know the exact word for that, but we can actually perform our simulations or our whatever experiment in accordance to that. So that would be very equipment specific, not a broader sense. So the workshops or industry talks, the people would be coming to explain the products, how is it working, and how they can work better if they have the better research facility or whatever they want to talk, so that our students can understand the product specifications and the working.
Yeah, just a follow-up, not a question but a suggestion. So, see, finally, when you organize this Atmanirbhar Bharat Expo, and you must be having a list of products or the equipments that you want to display, some kind of an approximate list you might be having in mind, like.
No, the database is not being generated till now. I have some few things in my head which have been I've done
So
groundwork.
you need to ideate on this,
Yes.
right? So yeah, so I would suggest you to, as I said, like we need to follow the GEM procedure.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not within our scope of student representative to make any policy changes, but we have to buy from GEM according to the cost that has been associated with this thing. So I would suggest like you add, you are going to be finally adding those products onto the GEM itself, right? At the end. So
I'm not vendor will.
Yeah, the
I'm
vendor
not-
will. The
yeah.
vendor will.
Yeah.
The vendor or the expo members who are
Yes.
coming to this thing. So I would suggest you like to add a awareness related program on that gym onto this Atmanirbhar Bharat Expo. So it would give them an idea about like how to like they know how to make a product, but how to actually put that on the platform. So that entire process is completed. If you could see that in a larger sense of view.
So we are the students and we are here for research and not for selling anything. GEM is for selling. It's a marketplace from where you can buy things. So I think your idea is good, but it won't work for the IIT students, because it could work for startups which are producing for the industry or for the direct customers, but I don't think it would be a large scale thing.
So when you say equipment materials otherwise sourced from foreign
Yes.
industries, so,
So
the
we are
IT
the-
students,
we are the consumers, not the sellers.
Exactly. Yeah, we are the consumers, not the sellers. So who's still there is after you explain, give an answer, I still have you told it's not for selling. Then why are we making equipment materials? So the idea I see was like to go on and become a startup, right? Like that was the equipment and
Okay,
materials.
so let me give you one example. So there's a ball mill in my department which is sourced from Germany, and the cost of it is in crores. And we all know ball mills are being manufactured in India, but that specific product has to be purchased from Germany, because it has certain precision or certain specifications they actually required or expected to perform well. But that equipment needs maintenance, which is through Germany itself, which requires a lot of time and money. The maintenance cost is in lakhs, and the time is also in months. So once a year they have to send the equipment to Germany to get it for the maintenance and get it back, which requires a lot of time. So for counter that, if the ball mill which is being manufactured in India we know about that product, how does that product is being performing? How is that product could perform well or better? The specifications about it, working of it, so that the student know about the betterment of it, or how to use the same thing for their own project.
Okay, there is this catch, right? Like that is what I was mentioning about. There is already a filter which does it, right? You cannot pass through GEM portal if the equipment already exists in the country. You cannot pass through the portal. Like if already whatever specifications that you're mentioning, if it's already there on the GEM portal, GEM portal is a filter, so that you don't just go buy foreign industry products blindly. So GEM portal is already a filter. Now, shouldn't you be doing workshops instead of expos? Because the filter is already in place, which inhibits someone to go and buy blindly the foreign industry products. So, if your specification is matching, GEM would show it out, like you have to buy it. So, wouldn't it be more like sensible if instead of the expo, introducing the product, showcasing the product, if the training is given in the product? Like if the industry people come and like the Indian industries, local industries, whatever you're mentioning, they come and give the training sessions, wouldn't it be more worthy? Like because expos keep happening everywhere, like in India, expos keep happening everywhere. So wouldn't it be more helpful is what I was mentioning. That was my point. Because GEM portal is already a filter. You can't go through GEM portal if there is already an Indian instrument existing.
So yeah, your point is right, and the idea was a similar thing. Workshops would be there. That's why I mentioned talks and workshops. So workshops would be there so that they can get hands-on for the product.
Thanks.
Okay, so you mentioned that we are researchers, we are not sellers. So can you give a brief about this statement that you said researchers are not sellers?
Researchers could be sellers, but all researchers are not sellers. That's what I'm saying. Researchers can start their startups and initiate whatever they want to do in their lives, but researchers are mainly focused on what research they are pursuing and they're doing. So after the research has been done, they can start a startup, which will like enhance their careers. But for the specific seller's point of view, I don't think we are here to sell something, or all of us are here to, become an entrepreneur.
Okay, I'd like to add on to that. You have to sell your research. Once your research is done, you have to sell your research. That is how you get. You don't have to start a startup to sell your research. You can make a patent, sell it.
No, the selling part and marketing part are different.
Yeah.
We have to market our research, not sell our research.
Patent is so.
Patent is so.
Yeah, that is what I was mentioning. Selling your research. So
There's
marketing is when you have startup, you have a product, you have an IP. Like you go and market it. Like whatever you have, you will be selling your product.
No, that's not selling. I think selling is something else and marketing is something else. In my perspective, I think marketing is something you have to publicize whatever you are doing and whatever you have done, right? The product which you have made. But selling is to convince the customer to buy it. Marketing, if you are using, for example, let me give you an example. If you are using Lifebuoy soap, but you know there is one soap called Dove.
Yeah,
Dove has marketing for it. Marketing skills have it.
Sorry to interrupt, but my point was like not about the nuances of marketing and selling, the management principles. My point was like nobody has like you don't need to become an entrepreneur forward, or you can commercialize your research. Was the point? I clearly understand selling and marketing from the management perspective. So that was not the question, and there is no clarity required on that point, I think.
Okay.
And also, once you have a startup going on, you want to sell your product.
Once you have a startup.
Yeah, once.
But in my perspective, whatever I know, most of the PhD students, like not most, I should not say most of them, but more than 50% PhD students are here to pursue their careers as a professor.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's own personal choice. That's what I'm saying. But the people, like those who will be attending your expos, you want them to have their startups, right? You want them to be the sellers, the vendors. That should be the end goal, right?
Not exactly that. That's one perspective. They can pursue for a startup, but that's not the whole perspective behind it.
Okay, it's to just showcase their
Yes, so that they are aware that this particular product can perform in this way, and you can actually use that product for your particular project in certain way.
As per your statement, you said that 50% of the researchers go for professor,
Plan to do that.
plan to do that. So, we as a PGHD, shouldn't we explore more in the startup culture, in entrepreneurship culture, in business?
Yeah, we should do that. It's a good idea. Yeah, I will think about it definitely.
Can we restrict ourselves thinking that 50% of the PhD students are already planning for academia and they don't want to go for anything else?
No, that's basically the personal choice. I think this is related to their own skills. If the person wants to be an entrepreneur, he will become an entrepreneur after BTech also, or after MTech also, or after PhD also. If the person doesn't want to become any sort of business thing, entrepreneurship thing, whatever you tell him or ask him to do, the chances of succeeding is very less for him or her. So it's personal choice. In my opinion, whatever I've seen, whatever I've talked with the students and not even in IIT Bombay itself, I have friends from my bachelor's and job also, which are actually pursuing their higher studies. So they actually get jobs, not do startups. So they think in a certain way that they will be serving certain things. So most of the PhDs researchers are planning to do planning their careers for professorship. So that's why I said that statement that most of them, not most of them, more than 50% PhDs are planning their careers as a professor.
As a GSA PG, can you restrict yourself?
No, I cannot restrict myself. But if the audience wants certain things, I cannot force them to pursue some certain other things. That's why I wrote Teachers of Tomorrow. But other things can be taken care of. Startups and startup idea. What you said, entrepreneurship. I'll think about it and ideate this thing. If possible, we'll do that.
Again, a suggestion: do not have that assumptions, right? We have a very variety, and if there is something like even few students are interested in, we should be taking care of them as well.
Sure,
Right?
definitely.
So we should not be having that assumption that more than 50 are going for, so we'll be organizing some events that should cater their needs, right?
Sure.
So
On the same lines, I don't see any entrepreneurship and other points, like you have restricted us, PG community, to Teachers of Tomorrow. So, but you still want materials which are locally manufactured, equipments which are locally manufactured, and everybody is just teaching. Where will the equipment and the materials come from? Like there is no entrepreneurship point in the manifesto.
Yes.
So, give the options.
Yeah, sure.
Whether they choose. That is why we had the placement cell, separate PG placement cell, so that focus on the jobs also instead of teaching, right?
Yes.
So that is, I find it missing from the manifesto, which can be worked upon. You can,
Yeah, sure.
if not in the manifesto, at least you can include it in the policy, like you can bring it up,
Sure,
even
sure.
though it's not in the manifesto. We can move to the debate.
Yeah, so let's move to the debate. So here, around 2 to 4 topics or questions will be given to the candidate beforehand, and the candidates needs to prepare their strategy to tackle the issue or develop their opinion on it. So I'm briefing you about what in a debate we are going to do. Then chips will be formed of these topics, and a chip will be picked randomly. The candidate will be asked to put forward their view on the topic in 2-3 minutes. The panel will individually speak on candidate's viewpoint for 1 minute each. The panel can come up with 3 specific questions for the candidate on the topic. The candidate has to answer them one by one, to which the panel can debate for 2 minutes maximum. The maximum of 2 topics will be debated. Okay? So let's pick the chips.
3.
So, okay. So this is for work-life balance. PG students often struggle to find a balance between their academic commitments and their personal lives. They may feel isolated or overwhelmed with their workload, which can affect their mental and emotional health. What are the measures as a GSA PG you will take to ensure better work-life balance?
Okay, so I'll give my opinion first. In my opinion, I think work-life balance is very related to how much you spend in your work and life. For example, you're pursuing putting some efforts in certain thing and not getting out of it. You're not into any extracurricular or anything. So you will be stuck in certain things. So you need to get out of certain stuckness in your life, in your research area or whatever you're working on, so that you can focus on it in a little later. So that's my opinion, and I can actually there are various things which have been done by SWC Student Wellness Center. There are events for that. So I'll also plan to work certain similar kind of events. So that the students are very aware of the not aware, but they can get their like their well-being, mental well-being would be good enough.
The main question is how. I mean, what is the plan of action?
How, like through events,
What kind of events?
mental health related events.
Then it comes under SWC budget.
Right.
So what you'll be doing unique?
So there could be motivational sessions, and I have also written one point in the manifesto also. So that's kind of an extracurricular related to research. That's the point in the point about research conclave, which is actually very through that point basically to the researcher, whoever is doing something, they can showcase their work to a certain community, to a small crowd, so that they can be motivated through that, from which they can be their mental health won't be that much hampered. That's
Yeah, so you spoke about SWC and then you spoke about having motivational sessions
Right.
as a part to tackle the pressure, academic pressure, and to maintain the work-life balance.
right.
So the question is like, do you know what is the actual problem that is being associated? Like, how would be the motivational session be different from that what SWC is doing? Do you know the problem with these sessions? Like, why are they not working? In the view of the recent unfortunate events that have happened, so why do you think these programs are not working in the first place?
Because most of the
Are they
students-
working? That is the first question.
Sorry, what is the second part?
Are these sessions working or no? And if not, then what's the reason?
Okay, so in my like these sessions are attended by those who think they are actually ill through mental illness. But if the person is not accepting it, is in denial, then he'll be stuck every time. So that's one of the issue. That's why I wrote like. That's why. That's. Hello. Yeah, so that's why I wrote that conclave thing, research conclave, which can be organized for departments, for certain departments, for a smaller groups on a certain topics, such that, for example, in a PhD department is one similar conclave is going on the next week. So in which approximately 50-60 students come and attend the session.
No, again, then research conclave is a different thing. We are
Yeah.
talking about the academic pressure, how to handle those pressure, the mental well-being. Yeah, that kind of thing. It's a different perspective. See, SWC is doing a great job. The problem with the sessions is that we don't have a footfall for that session. So if you take, because I have worked closely with SWC during my tenure, in spite of repeated mail, in spite of the push that most of the students they are writing the manifesto. So in spite of all these efforts being made, the footfall is around somewhere 50 to 60. For an institute having around 12,000 students or 14,000 students. So the problem is like the number of students who are attending the session, the people who are in denial, yes that's true, but like how would you tackle to increase the footfall? See, we need the awareness to reach every student. So what are the measures that you can take?
Okay. So why are they in denial? That's what I was talking about. Whatever I was talking about previous to this, it was about the denial only. They are in denial because they are stuck with some problem. They are thinking that I am doing this research and I am not getting anywhere. So if they present their research work or whatever they have done to a certain community, they can get motivated.
You see, the reason for denial can be numerous.
Anything, that's one of the perspective. And footfall for denial, yeah, we can actually market, publicize it, but
Exactly. You see, the problem is creating the awareness. So you need to have, you need to ideate with your group like how to formulate some measures, some firm things like to increase this thing, football, and create awareness among the students. So you need to work. It's going to be a dynamic process. It's not a one night thing or this thing.
yeah, sure.
Okay, about the question, you suggested research conclave, right? I think it's counterintuitive. So, wouldn't it be considered as workload? Someone who is already depressed and he doesn't want to do anything, and because of academic pressure, now you want him to want him or her to present. Will that not be seen as workload instead of not feeling isolated? So, isn't it counterintuitive to already a person who is who has lots of academic pressure? He's going to a research conclave. Shouldn't he be getting some time out from the academic pressure? The debate topic is more about work-life balance. So research conclave, is it work or life? I think it's counterintuitive. You can...
Okay, so there are two types of conclaves. One would be on institutional level for everybody to attend, and they're all volunteers if they want to come or they don't want to come. If they want to be a stakeholder to the talks, they can be. That's a different thing. If they want to learn something, that's a different thing. But whatever the mental health issue was there, I was talking about the department-specific small groups, or for example, 10 to 15 groups. That would be particular to the topics. For example, if somebody is working on AI/ML, that person would come if they want to learn something new, if they are stuck with something and they are not getting anywhere, or if they have done certain work or they have certain things to show, they can showcase that thing. So that is completely voluntary basis. If they want to attend, they can attend. They want to speak, they can speak.
Okay, so I'm still stuck on the same point. Let's say again the debate topic is work-life balance. I'm still there. Where is the balance part coming? Like you're talking about progressing research, getting it to wider audience and stuff like that. Let's say you're in a 9 to 5 job and then you're stressed out. Then you're telling him to meet a couple of people and then describe about the job, explain about the job. It's similar to that is what I feel. Where is the balance part? Like life part, work again, research conclave, discuss in the groups, where the debate topic is more of work-life balance. So where is the life part happening?
So as I said in the earlier that every person should focus on extracurricular too. So through motivational sessions or through SWC sessions also, the students should be aware enough that should be like we have the job to get them aware, like make them aware of the extracurricular things and how to get out of the things which are not very good for them. which actually made them stuck in the first place. So work-life balance, I think you're talking about the overburdening of the research. Is that what you are saying?
I think it's here, like balance, yes. Overburdening of research already. So research conclaves sounded counterintuitive for this debate topic.
Okay.
So again, on the same lines, like where they said, like motivation and the sessions that are already being conducted, which is not being so successful. And one more point I'd like to bring is like this was the similar debate topic your previous GSA also got.
Okay.
You could have looked at those things. And
No, I have looked at those things, but
how would you increase the footfall? Like, already there are events being conducted. Conducting more events will not increase the footfall. You will be dividing the same footfalls across the events. Like,
right. So I had an idea, but I don't know. Like, it's not my idea for sure. There was one event conducted by IIT Delhi professor, which was online for Pan India thing, and that was very I can say interactive thing, because she wanted to have feedbacks at that particular time only. So we can think of doing certain similar things like that, but that's not my idea, so I didn't speak to that.
Okay, so you were in the council, right?
Right.
So we organized an event on stress management for placements.
Right.
And that speaker is very renowned, right? And people are sitting for placements. So we should be targeting that, right? And we spend a lot of time managing. But again, we have the problem of footfall. We did not have lot many participation, although the event is organized on maybe peak time that students should be participating, and the speaker is very, as you are mentioning, that so much of those who have attended it, they have find it very insightful. So I mean, in this tenure, lot many events were conducted. So this is the problem that we as in PGSE were facing, that we are not, I don't know where is that lack, that we are not able to spend this kind of awareness that we should be doing. So what will be your plan of action for it?
just adding to that, like, and your previous response, it may not be your idea. As a GSA PG, you will be taking the collective ideas of the council, and then you will be acting upon it based on your volition, whether it is feasible, not feasible. So it may not be the fountain of your idea, like it comes from your thing, but it can be collective, it can be IT release anywhere, but you can feel free to mention or use that.
Yeah, sure. Actually, yeah. So about the awareness thing, as I said, that IIT Delhi professor session was very interactive and it was online, which if it was at 9 p.m. If you are at your dining table, if you are at your home, if you are actually walking at the streets, you can attend it from anywhere. So that's one of the part we can think of to get aware, to get people to attend the session, so that they don't have to get out of their comfort zone to attend some event.
So you're saying that rather than organizing event offline, it would be better online.
Yes.
Is it?
For mental health, I guess, I think it's better to get it to online.
So do you think a person, since the topic is work-life balance, so is already stressed out, will attend that online event, and would that be helpful?
Just a
Don't you think- don't you think-
factual correction for his point. There was more footfall in the offline session rather than that of online session. So the online session doesn't work. That is what we have observed.
Okay, okay. That,
And you think that the online one is more interactive and more
Yes, I was saying that only. Not interactive, I said more people would join. I said that. I did not say that it would be more interactive. The professor made attempts to the students to get it more interactive. And that was the beauty of the session. She was actually active for the feedbacks of the students at that time, there and then only. So in my perspective, what you have said, that offline session would have less football, and the offline session would have more football and online would be less. in my perspective, if you are in your comfort zone, getting out of your comfort zone and going somewhere to attend some session would be like less likely, and attending the session through clicking some link only. You're at your phone most of the time, so that's how I said that online session would have better footfall. So
We have organized many events which were online, still we were not having participation. So how will you counter that?
okay, so I think there would be some issues with the timings of the session.
Last question.
There might be some issues with the timing because most of the students
Can I
are
take one more question?
the students might be having certain submissions, deadlines, or classes for the.
I think that will be always be there, right? So what we can do? I mean, is there something that you have planned for to increase the awareness? Last question.
No, I have not done anything till now, but I'll ideate things.
I think you need to work on it because this is the major issue that we as an PGAC is facing when it comes to event or yeah, mostly events. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any last question for this topic?
There's no question, mostly a suggestion. Like just when you get into the institute or like when you want to even go to the swimming pool, like they ask, are you vaccinated or that? Like shouldn't there be mental screening also, since already there's lots of academic tests? Shouldn't it be made mandatory screening, like your psychological profile is maintained and which is kept secret, just like your medical records? Shouldn't that mental screening also be done like for mental well-being basically?
Yeah.
So to assess if somebody is under stress or not.
It's a very good point. I'll keep that in mind. Okay.
Okay, so thank you. Let's go and let's go for choose the second topic of the debate. Huh?
One.
Okay, so topic 1 has been chosen. So, due to increase in operating costs, infrastructure development and changes in government policies, a fee hike is likely to occur in the upcoming semesters. Being in the fee committee, what is your opinion over this issue and what will be your plan of action?
Okay. So in IIT, it's a central institute. And we have a crowd which could the variety of the crowd is the economical background of the crowd would be varying very much. So for the who have not wealthy enough, they could not afford the fee hike for their admissions. So in my perspective, the fee hike, I know the infrastructure costs are going up, inflation is there, but it should be affordable enough for everybody, every student in the institute, so that every person who is also not wealthy enough can think of or can plan to pursue their studies in IIT Bombay.
I think the question, you didn't get the question correctly. The question is like if it is done in future, how will you encounter that or what will be your, as a representative?
So
what will be your plan of action?
So I'll plan to talk to the authorities regarding this, that most of the students are actually planning to pursue their careers here because the fees is not that much.
They have all the data, right? That how, I mean, I think they already aware of that.
Yes.
Not everybody is, so I mean.
The students are coming here so that this is basically, we are talking about PG, postgraduate students. So most of the postgraduate students are pursuing their careers, they're pursuing their studies here because they want and they don't want to take help from their parents and their family. So there should be some stipend regarding this, that is there, but the fees is getting hiked, but the stipend is not getting hiked. So if the inflation is there for the infrastructure, the inflation should be there for the students also. If the fee hike is there, the stipend hike should also be there. First thing, and the other thing, other point is Yeah, that same point that if the economic background of the student is not really very good, that student should be, the fee should be affordable for the student such that he can actually come here to pursue his career, pursue his or his studies.
Yes, see, this is the emotional or the what you call it, the informal argument that you are presenting before the authorities. When you approach the authorities, when you will be in conversation with the authorities, with all the groups like that SAFH and the students itself. So at that point, there will be some logical this thing. There will be some logical background you will be needing, like the bifurcation of the fees. Right? You need to have an explanation on each of that, like why those fees, which components can be reduced, why those components are improved. So do you have a fixed plan of action on that as of yet?
So, adding to the same thing, right? So, the argument exactly as it's told, whatever you put forth is an emotional argument. Like, but whatever argument they would have is, this is the expenditure, this is how the institute is running, this is the funding that the institute is getting, and the institute has taken this much loan, this is the outstanding fee, this is the alumni contribution, and this is why the fee hike is justified. It is simple on tally. It is tallied. So that is how they'll put forth the argument. So you should be countering the argument, like where is that extra money coming from? Like you want that to be equitable for everyone. Like one who is in the lowest income group, you want subsidized things for them, and how would you go about it? Like the numbers, basically. Like so, what would be the argument? Not the emotional argument. Like we all know, we are.
Emotional arguments we are all agreeing with. Yeah, that is an issue that we are agreeing with. But to deal with it, you need a very logical argument. And again, it's okay to not have a ready plan of action at this point. The whole idea is to have a collective effort. You will be having your team, you will be having again your secretaries who will be working on these things. So you can always formulate this. Yeah, sure.
I think about it in the upcoming council for sure. Thank you for those suggestions.
Okay, so with that, we will be ending the topic debate. So now I thank panelists for contributing your time to the soapbox. I would like you to stay till the end, but if you have you are having some commitments, so you can leave. But I would like you to stay. Okay, so now we'll be going with background check. So I will be asking around 2 questions to check your background and your credentials that you have given to us. So as Academic Council Coordinator from PGAC, what were your responsibilities and what are your major achievements in this tenure?
So,
Thank you.
so we would like to thank the host, GSA PG, correct, and wish the next GSA PG and the host. So thank you. We have prior commitments, so we'd like to leave. Thank you.
Thank
All the
you.
best.
Yes, sir. Thank
All
you,
the best.
Rishikesh.
Yeah. So I also would like to, it's nice to see every council member on board. We have the very previous council members and Yash, I guess. Yeah, and then I would also like to thank Vishaka for her tenure, and it was an exciting tenure, I would say. I have worked with her very closely, and again, finally, I would a very best of luck for your tenure, because there are going to be some problems, but it will be a very joyful ride, I would say.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so Anmol, yeah, as he mentioned, so it's going to be one of the best. I would mention that being in a PGAC, it was one of the best experience for me, and I think that will help you throughout the life, right? So all the best if elected. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So let's come back to our question. So what was your responsibility as academic council coordinator, and what are your major achievements in this tenure?
Hello. I was responsible to assist Institute Secretary for Academic Affairs doctoral part. Since I'm a doctoral student, I had to assist him, and the major things I did was for spring semester orientation. I was one of the members for handling the orientation, and in January mid or fourth week, there's one initiative for PWD community, especially for visually challenged students in IIT Bombay, for regarding the login issues of this webmail, and the curriculum which they have to do, and the slides, so that they can read, so they can actually listen to through some softwares. And that thing is not done completely, still going on, but now I'm not actually allowed to do that. So since till February 1st week I did, and after that I filled the nomination.
Okay, and so these are your achievements that you have.
Yes.
So what was your responsibility as ACC?
To assist the council and any certain aspect they need to, and to have this conversations with the departments, because ACC post is defined like we are a part of PGAC council, but auras are actually responsible for the department wide. ACCs are actually responsible for whole PGAC members to assist them. Whatever shortfall is there, we have to fill up that part.
Okay, so what was your responsibility as PG convener, Institute Technical Council, and what are your major achievements from this sector?
Okay, so I was in IT Institute Technical Council, and there was what do you call? There's one event which is a flagship event of ITC, which was conducted in I don't remember the exact month, but I was there in the that thing, and I was there for the PG weekend also for ITC.
Okay, and what were your responsibilities?
Like the responsibilities were to get to the PG students, publicize the event, so that for the PG weekend I'm telling, and for the flagship event also, to get to the PG students so that they can come to the events and participate in the event, and manage the event, the logistics of the event. I was part of that also.
Okay, all right. So now we will be having Q&A session. So this will be, firstly it will be from inside, and 2 questions will be asked from candidate, and then it will be open for audiences, and around 15 minutes it will be open close and audience can ask questions. So slight correction we have here. So there will be 4 questions from inside, and then it will be open for audience.
We'll start with reduction in PhD times. That's our first theme of questions. What are the reasons that PhDs have that it takes them longer to complete their thesis?
So there would be specific to the student, because the student, there are various domains they are working on. Certain things, for example, I'll take one example of experimentation part of the thing. So you need to have equipment ready for the research you are doing. So the equipment you cannot control. When you are buying it, you cannot have the equipment within 1 day or 2 days or small period of time. It takes more than 3 to 4 months sometimes to come. Because of that, the PhD duration can be increased, or there could be the results part, the results they are not getting.
How are you per se changing that? Like the example that you said about equipment not coming in, how are you changing that within your manifesto point?
For the equipment part, that would be very difficult to take. But whenever the PhD supervisor is actually controlling the student to pursue some particular project and not getting the PhD done because of the results are not very good or something like that, we can focus on that part, so that the PhD duration, so that the PhD student should be facilitated with the particular aspect of that.
So the number of cases wherein wherein a guide is increasing the PhD duration versus the number of cases wherein you have that are genuine reason like equipment not coming in, certain things not happening the way they should be, delaying the PhDs. The latter is much more, so you still have a problem solution mismatch wherein you're trying to solve a problem for advisors rather than where the problem exists is in terms of logistics that you cannot do anything to solve.
So the logistic issues will be there every time. We cannot do anything about it. We cannot actually expedite the purchase part, but we can actually think of doing something for the issues with the PhD supervisors. And for equipment part, that thing would be taken care of through they have APSs. So in the APS they can give remarks. Professors RPCs can give remarks, so that thing could be mentioned that because of this the PhD duration has been increased, and certain some funds have been generated through the IIT for them who have for 6 months after the 5 years stipend duration, they can get that.
Yeah, so you agree that the major issues are logistical and you can do nothing to solve them, right?
Not exactly. Some issues are logistical and some issues are not logistical, which are related to guides.
Okay, so what is your according to you, the majority of 2 or 3 issues that cause PhDs to be extended, or are there no such issues?
Can you pardon the question, please?
So what are according to you the top 2 or 3 reasons why PhDs get extended, or is there no such generalization available?
So general issues, first is because of the experimental part, that things are not in control. Second thing, guide is expecting very much from the student, and the student cannot perform that well. Third thing might be the student is actually not performing and the guide expectation is very less, but student should perform well. So these things should be taken care of.
So your first point is not addressed in the manifesto from what I understand. Your second point is that guide expects too much from students and students are able to deliver.
Yes.
So how do you think this will be affected if you give guides more incentive for students to finish their PhD earlier? If you are giving them more incentive in terms of finishing earlier and actually decide a monetary compensation, then how will this affect the expectations they have of students? Do you think this will actually reduce the expectations?
So at the end, basically the work has to be done by the student. So if the student is motivated enough and they want to actually pursue the research for very good in a good research part, they will be motivated enough and they will work. And guide will support him or her for the same thing. But if the student is himself or herself is not motivated enough, the guide would take that kind of action for that particular student. It is student specific.
So you mentioned 3 issues. None of them are being solved by the fact that you are giving money to professors for them to get PhDs completed easy. Cool. Even taking a best case, when you go ahead and do that, firstly, how will you decide the compensation? Will it be significant at all? Because for them to start caring about compensation, they need to care for the funds, rather than going ahead and extending someone's PhD? How does that come into calculus at all? What is the range of funding that we are looking at?
Okay, so let me ask you one counter question for this. Do you know, I'll tell you one thing. This
Don't ask counter-question.
counter questions are not allowed. Okay, so let me tell you one thing. The the supervisor gets some amount which is around 2 lakh rupees after the completion of PhD of the student. If at all, because of the professor or the supervisor, the PhD is getting delayed, so the faulty part is from the guide side. If at all the professor is at the faulty side, if 10,000 rupees is also deducted from the same amount, it would be like very bad impression for the professor. And in today's life, 10,000 rupees deduction is very big thing.
You mentioned 3 reasons for delays in PhD.
Right.
None of them are, if there's a logistical problem, if you deduct, if you go ahead and if you don't give professors, if you deduct money from there, that's not fair. If students themselves are not willing to go ahead and do this, why should a guide be punished for that?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that whenever the professor is at the guilt side, at the fault side, that's when we are actually focusing on. That's where we are actually focusing on. When the logistic issues are there, it would be taken care of through the APS. The remarks are would still be there in the APS, through which the decision would be made.
So you are saying each thing will have to be evaluated case by case.
For sure.
So
we cannot generalize things.
How many PhD students have graduated in any given year, or how many PhDs get extended in any given year?
So approximately, I believe 300-350 students would be graduating from PhD every year.
Who will be evaluating them case by case basis? Which part of your?
So it would be definitely through RPCs and DPGCs.
Have they agreed to do this?
Sorry?
Have they agreed to do this, or have you talked to them about this before?
No, actually this was taken through the previous councils. So I'll take care of that part in my council. So they have done some groundwork for this through deans. They are in talks. They were in talks with them. So I'll push for this thing in my tenure.
PhDs for different fields take different amount of time. So how will you generalize the common minimum, and how will you go ahead and ask faculties from more intense, quote unquote, intensive departments that require a lot more experimentation value to go ahead and stick to the same time?
As I said, it is not generalized. It is case to case basis. It would definitely, like if you want to generalize it, it would be very, very difficult. We can generalize it in the sense when the PhD is very nominal, like there is no logistic issues, or there is no student-professor expectation issues.
Okay, we'll move on to the next question. You have 2 points in your manifesto for the newcomers for PGs, which is the mini projects, which you said in your manifesto video that they would be for preparing students for, it would be based on their thesis, master's or PhD.
It could be master's and PhD.
Yeah, and the second thing was for incoming freshers, we're going to do skill development for courses and coursework.
Right.
Now the first thing that I want to ask is, during your manifesto video, you said that this is going to be completely based on their PhD thesis and master's thesis. But currently what you said in the soapbox itself was that this is going to train them for their thesis itself. So
yes.
These 2 things don't make sense to me. Can you just clarify?
Why? Same thing. Basically, if they want to work on their MTech thesis or PhD thesis per se, they're actually being trained, or they are being, I can say, advancement of their research portion for the future work, for the future research work. So this is for their, for example, I told in the soapbox, if you are working on OpenFOAM, if you don't have any idea about it, if you start by today, you will take probably more than 2 months to learn the whole thing. But if you have prior knowledge to the OpenFOAM before going to the actual research, you will be on a positive side. You will be on a plus side, plus part of it. So that's how it is training or mini research project kind of thing.
Okay, and so these will have to be mentored by seniors or people who already
Yes.
worked in this. How are you going to get the mentors for this?
Yeah, we will contact them.
Yeah.
What is the mechanization of contacting people that you'll employ? Will you go to each person and ask them? Will you float a form? What exactly?
Yeah,
will
we
you
will
do for
float
this?
a form. We'll ask for the volunteers for mentoring students. so that they actually they will be enhancing their skills of teaching.
What are the accountability mechanisms for those mentors that you are selecting? Since this is an important thing wherein you are teaching someone based on the thesis that they're teaching someone requirements for a thesis, what are the accountability mechanisms do you have for those mentors?
So they must have done some work on their part, on their research, right? So they know the subject. If they know the subject, they are actually trained enough to teach the subject, and it is totally voluntary basis. So I think most of the, not most of the, they will come only when they are actually planning to teach somebody.
Them having knowledge about it makes them qualified to teach. How do you ensure that they actually go ahead and mentor the people that require this? What are the accountability mechanisms do you have for that?
Since PGSC will be advertising this event and taking responsibility for it.
Reframing that, what are the contingency mechanisms do you have in place for these mentors?
So we'll have auras to take care of it, and we'll have somebody from our team so that the process can be I can say surveillance. So that I've done one groundwork with one ITC person. He has suggested me to float the projects in March, because in second semester after the midsems the load is not that high in the first semester, that of the first semester. So that could be one possibility. And as you said that 3-4 months is wasted in this thing, in that kind of a thing. That won't be the issue, because certain things require certain time to prepare for, and that's will be doing.
So you said auras is responsible for organizing these sessions and ensuring accountability.
Right.
So for example, if you want to have a MATLAB session, there are 7 to 8 departments that require that. Which aura will be responsible for that? There are going to be certain softwares that people are going to know how to use. Like OpenFOAM is a certain software that you will require if you are from MEC or if you are from chemical, for instance. So which of the auras is responsible to ensure that they get mentored for that and they maintain accountability for it?
So that totally depends on the project. Number of projects would be floated, and how much crowd is there, and based on that, maybe 2 hours or 3 hours can be assigned for the same project.
So to summarize, we have not thought of the number of projects that are going to happen and what kind of workload or aura will get is all dependent on the number of projects. So you have no contingency plans in terms you get too many projects and auras get overburdened. You have no contingency plans in that aspect. Right?
No.
Now, since this is a new act, are you aware of any existing structures in the institute that do things like this about projects and all?
Yes, actually ITC does this thing. Similar to say, Summer of Science, and they have ITSP also. So this is similar to that, but those things are more or less related to extracurriculars. They do projects for like fun kind of thing, not exactly for their curriculum. This would be more serious thing, because they are actually planning to do for building their careers, building their resumes.
So this is something that you think, but they have an established mechanism for getting mentors, floating projects, taking feedback and all of that.
Yeah.
So have you spoken to them about how they do this?
Yes, I have spoken to them. I have talked with PG nominee. So I'll be in contact with them also, and I'll do like kind of collaboration thing if it can happen in the future.
Okay, you move on to a library point. You mentioned one scheme. Can you repeat the name of the scheme?
National Digital Library.
Have you looked at what the scheme exactly is?
What is your
Have you
point?
looked into the scheme exactly? Because from what I understand, the scheme is accessible to everyone free of cost.
Right.
Which means integrating it with IIT Bombay Library or anything is not going to have any advantage. So
Right.
what exactly is your
So
role?
my point was that was one example. There are various journals, various books, and library resources are not well equipped. There are various journals in, for example, BSB department which are not actually, we cannot actually see them, we cannot access them. So that's what one thing I'll plan to do something to enhance the library resources through the through national schemes. That's one of the example, and that has been started yet.
So, since you mentioned schemes, this one obviously does not count. It's already implemented. It's free of cost. There is nothing that you can do to improve it right now.
Were you aware of the scheme before this? Like, I'm just asking this because most of us are actually not aware of the schemes which are actually in the nationwide.
So your manifesto point is not that you're going to publicize them. Is that you're
No,
going to?
I'm not saying that we'll publicize them. We'll be helping the students through the same thing. If the
So no questions. Don't
Yeah.
ask any questions.
okay, sorry about that.
So this is one scheme. Can you mention other schemes since you are specific?
No, I'll think about it I'll plan to ideate the things in the future.
But taking a step back, have people relate to your concerns as to fact that there aren't enough subscriptions of magazines? Because most of the magazines most of the journals or research papers that exist are largely, you can go ahead and access them from IITB land, and the ones that you cannot usually go ahead and entail higher subscription costs. So if you are going to bring in more journalistic cover, have you thought about the budgetary aspects of it? If not, then what are you trying to do with increasing library cover?
No, actually, I have not planned for the taken any budget kind of thing in my idea. So if at all that would be issue, we'll take care of that through permission from the deans.
So, you are not entirely sure which magazines are not, which journals are not yet subscribed by and are not accessible by IITB VPN, and you have no budgetary solutions to go ahead and get them involved. So, what exactly?
I told you that BSP department and few journals from the civil departments. I cannot recall the exact name of the journal, but there are journals which are not actually accessible. This is the very big issue for BSP department because various people from BSP told me that's the thing.
So the solution to that is getting subscription of those those journals which require monetary thought, which you said you haven't thought of.
Yes, will.
For an Atmanirbhar point, so you just to clarify what you meant by this was you're going to have an expo where industries can come and talk about the products that they have, and what you told us in the manifesto video was that these certain products are not up to standards that they can be used for research. Am I correct in saying this?
Yes. So there are two facts. One is there are for certain products, certain equipments which actually cannot be produced in India. And there are certain products which actually are being produced in India, but they are not up to the mark of that if compared to that of the foreign products. So if we get people aware of the products which are actually being produced in India, but with the similar kind of precision, with the similar kind of specification, but not the exact what they were expecting. So we can actually, like if we are making students aware, they can change their projects in certain way, hits and tricks to which they can actually do the project.
So since they already have certain equipment that have been well established and used all over the world, what is the incentive that you are giving to them to change to these to these indigenous manufacturing? After their PhD or master's thesis has already begun, where they already have the equipment that they need and know how to operate it as well.
I think the equipment would work similar way. Like for example, if you talk about any equipment, mechanical equipment, the precision, the specification would be different, but the use or the working of the working principle of the product would be equipment would be similar.
So
there would not be any much issue related to using the foreign equipment and the Indian equipment.
So before this you said that they might not be exactly the same, or they might have different specifications that can be used to this.
Right.
Which would imply that they are not the same thing to use, right? Had too much.
Specifications are different and usage is different is the different things. If the specifications are different, then the usage might be the same. Right, the smaller vacuum cleaners works it's exactly same way the bigger vacuum cleaner does. So you have to operate it. Operation would be the similar, usage would be similar, but the specification would be different.
Yeah, but then if it is so similar, do you not expect that they would have looked for the product already, since it would obviously be cheaper for them to do it? And as was mentioned, there is a portal for us to do all of this in India itself. And it's a big hassle to get equipment from outside India. So if someone is doing that, there is clearly a reason, right?
Yeah, sure, there would be. But if they are not aware of it, we'll be doing that with the awareness thing.
Okay, so there are a lot of instruments that are used in the institute. How are you going to find Indian alternatives for all of them, or do you have a list of the ones that do have Indian alternatives? Because if you are organizing an expo, it needs to have a lot of different events and a lot of different things being covered. So you gave us one example that you have talked about, that in fact in the manifesto you said cost lakhs to repair, and now you said crores.
No, I said lakhs to repairs, and to buy it gets crore. The equipment cost is more than 1.5 crore, and to get it repaired, it was around 2 lakhs or something like that.
Okay, so that is one equipment. If you are having an expo, you need a big list of equipment that also have Indian alternatives.
Correct.
Have you made a list for this?
No, I have not made any database, but we'll be doing that.
How will you go about making such a list?
Because we are actually working on Resix portal, the second point of the same thing. We'll be making some list, public data within the campus, so that we can actually access which equipments are which facility is having the say, which facility are having certain equipments.
So, GEM portal right now has a list of manufacturers, and you put a tender there. So, an Indian alternative to what machine specification you are suggesting, you get suggestions for that, and for buyers go ahead. For you to acquire a product from outside, there are a lot of steps for that, right? That is the existence of a GEM portal. So how are you uniquely bringing in more awareness from a portal that exactly tells you that this vendor has XYZ specifications? How are you raising awareness among people better than a portal that actually has the list of all vendors and what machines have an Indian alternative?
I didn't get your question actually. Can you simplify?
There are portals that already exist which have a wide variety of list of such vendors and such equipments who are easy to obtain. Why is this expo that you are doing with limited resources and limited equipment and materials better than that portal that already exists and is in place?
So you're talking about the GEM portal. So GEM portal, let me tell you, it was made by the government of India in, I think, if I'm not wrong, it was made in 2017 or 18. That was the first version, but it was mandated throughout the India by the government of India in 2020. And in 2020 itself, the most of them were not even aware of the portal. And still now, the most of the, in the industries, it is well enough circulated that you have to register yourself in the GEM portal. And for the vendor, they don't want to register in the hassle part of the selling. They want to easy sell the product. And even if in my company also, they wanted the customers to not go to the GEM portal and buy it anyways in the normal process. So GEM portal is still not being very aware within the vendors.
How does a professor right now in institute, if he wants to go ahead and buy a machine, how does he go ahead and proceed on to doing that? Do you have an idea onto it?
How does the
how are how are machines procured in the status quo? Do you have an idea for it?
For buying something.
Okay.
So how you do that is basically you go ahead and put your requirements of a machine in on the GEM portal. There you go ahead and you get vendors that go ahead and tell you that that we have this specification, you wanted this, does this work or not? So that's an exhaustive process for 3 to 4 months. After that, only you are allowed to go ahead and put out a tender for machines and for manufacturers outside India. So for every machine that is coming from outside within the institute, there has been a very thorough thorough process within the GEM portal wherein they ensure that an Indian alternative of this doesn't exist. How do you solve that is the question.
Actually, I'm not solving that part. What you are asking, what I ideated was the thing is, I'll get the awareness in the campus that these products are made by Indian manufacturers, and maybe the material procurement part would follow up later. The awareness part and the Indian industries which are actually working on it, so that we can actually showcase what Atmanirbhar Bharat is the actual idea.
So your objective was to showcase that there are things being done in India with respect to this.
Yes.
So it does not address the issue of getting equipment to professors then.
That would follow up later on.
But you agree that they anyways go through GEM and they have to go through GEM.
Afterwards, so after a certain time, they will be going to that thing.
So are you suggesting that when they are going to do an experiment, they will be inspired to do one just because an equipment exists? They are anyways going to do their experiments, they are anyways going to buy their equipment, they are going to go to GEM anyways. What is your expo adding to this?
That was your last question. Okay, thank you. Thank
So-
you, sir.
He answered. Sorry for the delay. Like what my exo would do is the same answer is still there. That awareness would be increased about the Indian industry, so that the students get well aware that this can be the alternative. And so because of this, Atmanirbhar Bharat can be promoted. Thank you so much. I'll do my best to build the PG community within the campus and take up their academic issues which they face and enhance the grievances. Not enhance the grievances. I'll take up the grievances well enough so that every student, every PG student would be taken care of. If elected, I'll do those things. Thank you so much. Please vote for me. The Institute Gymkhana election would be commencing on 12th of March. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anmol. Thank you, audience, for patiently listening. Thank you very much.